great to see such experiences. Now let's see how each feedback techniques can be applicable in different lesson presentation. In this presentation, we'll see 6 types of feedback techniques: facilitative, descriptive, peer-to-peer, motivational, student-to-teacher kinds of feedback. To begin with, whenever we apply or use different feedback techniques, we have purposes or we have aims. For example, when you are planning to apply facilitative feedback, our aim is to enhance students' thinking about their learning or to get their reflection about their learning or the kind of feedback you provide. Or it also helps us to engage students deeply about the lesson presented or the learning material. In order to practically apply this, you can ask different guiding questions instead of, telling them the correct answer or giving, generic praise. Whenever you are asking guiding questions, you are also better give wait time or contemplation time for a few seconds so that student can have a chance to think critically about the guiding question you raise and provide a response for the questions you provide or you ask it. For example, you can say, is the verb the same for I and he? Which form do you think is correct here? Whenever you are teaching, subject-verb agreement, you can, instead of just telling students to tell you the correct verb, you can ask a guiding question, what do you think is correct? So that students have a chance to justify or reason out why they are correct or incorrect, so that we can, enhancing or enabling them to develop a reflective mindset and we can engage them in deep learning. Whenever you give descriptive feedback, our purpose is just to encourage students' reflection about the quality of their performance. As we engage students in different activity, and at the end of the day, we can give, a descriptive feedback to assess students' performance progress. To help students just achieve this purpose, we better help students to notice or to know their strengths by describing what was done well and what needs further improvements. For example, if you are teaching a past simple tense in a context, you can ask, you used went in the past tense. That's great. Can you find another sentence used in the past tense? So if you are, asking a probing prompts, you are, encouraging students to identify a strategy to find a similar verb used in the past tense instead of just telling you're correct or you are incorrect or praising them in the meantime of their performance, so that student can have the chance to develop a thinking mindset or reflective mindset and develop self-regulative skills. The other feedback strategy is, directive feedback, which helps learners to know exactly what to change or improve. Whenever you apply directive feedback in your lesson presentation, instead of, providing students, you must do or you have to do, you better, support students by giving a clear and simple guidance or simple instruction how students can perform the given tasks in a better way. Or you can ask even a follow-up or a guiding questions. For example, you may ask students' knowledge or performance in using is or are for singular pronoun like he and she. He, a masculine sex pronoun. For example, you can say, great, you used is in the sentence. Why do you say he is, not he are? So this prompting question allows students just to justify why is not goes, why are is not goes with a pronoun he, so that you are empowering to develop self-learning or self-regulative learning skills. And students have an opportunity to reflect their answer when they are, telling or responding such questions. you are capacitating students to use the target language even in the classroom. And the other feedback strategy is, motivational feedback, which is used to build students' confidence and to engage them, keep going in the learning process or in reflecting their views and actively participating in the learning process. In order to apply these feedback techniques in the classroom effectively, we as a teacher need to recognize students' effort to perform the given tasks or to perform the given activity instead of just expecting a perfect or a correct answer from the students. Whenever we give motivational feedback, we need to encourage or we need to use encouraging language or a kind of feedback that keep the likelihood of student active participation in the learning process. For example, you can say, for example, you understood the main idea. That's great. What helped you to understand it? For example, if you are teaching a reading skill for different level of students, a student may, gets the main idea from reading texts, and you empower them by saying you understood the main idea. That's great. Such kind of motivational praise can keep or encourage students to stay focused on the given activity, and the feedback prompt that inquires what helped you to understand it just encourage students to entail or to tell us the strategies they applied to get the main idea, so that we are encouraging to tell us the strategies they employed. So such kind of, again, feedback promote self-regulated and reflective learning mindset in the learning process. And the other feedback, or the two last feedback technique, is peer-to-peer feedback, which is mainly used to promote collaborative and reflective learning environment. Whenever we encourage peer-to-peer feedback, when we give different pair work or group work activity, we need to encourage and train them or guide them how students can give and receive feedback from the students. If you are not, giving a success criteria or a criteria how they can give feedback, student may not willing to give feedback for a partner. So as a teacher, at the end of engaging them in different pair work or group activity or an individual presentation, you need to encourage students just to give feedback on his or her friend's strong side or weak side that need improvements. For example, you can begin with a feedback prompts. Tell your partner one thing they could improve, or tell your friend a strength and an area that needs improvement. Or you can, in such way, we can empower or we can promote peer-to-peer feedback or peer-to-peer learning experience. Different research shows that, when students are well-trained and, engaged or promote to learn from the peers, they are, learning some percent better than teachers' feedback. So as we know, we need to encourage peer-to-peer feedback in our lesson presentation while we engage students to perform the given tasks. And the other or the last feedback technique is student to teacher types of feedback. Such kind of feedback is used to encourage students to think about their learning experience and to provide teachers an input that needs improvement in the teaching learning process. For example, you can ask reflective questions at the beginning of the lesson, or in the meantime of the lesson, or at the end of the lesson. For example, you can say, how are you happy with today's lesson? Which part of today's lesson is difficult, simple, or very difficult? And you can ask why, so that the student can give you an input about their learning preference or level of difficulty about the lesson you deliver, so that you can improve your lesson presentation for a coming lesson or in the next lesson. And student-teacher feedback engagement can also promote, teacher-student relationship, because when you receive feedback from our students, a student can trust as a teacher whenever they express their feelings. So this feedback also another valuable feedback we need to promote while delivering different language skills in our lesson presentation.